go. So today is International Human Rights Day, and it marks today is 6 months and 1 day into the protest movement. So as a Hong Konger, what do human rights mean to you?
Well, it means freedoms, all the things that are written in the Chinese Constitution, as well as in all the international human rights covenants.
Yeah.
So these are rights that we are born with, and like freedom of religion, political freedom, freedom of association, all the freedoms, and actually most of the freedoms Hong Kong people have enjoyed for many years, except the right to elect our government. And the irony is, although we don't have the political right to elect our government, but the level of freedoms and human rights that we enjoy in Hong Kong for so many decades is much higher than countries which have periodic elections to choose their government. And that's the irony. And in many of those places, although they can elect their government periodically, the people don't feel safe. The country is very corrupt, and they have no freedom, especially press freedom. So, I mean, this is a very crazy world. And so sometimes Hong Kong people say, oh, why do we need democracy? Democracy is to defend our freedoms, but we are so free. But now, given all these months of protests, people have waken up that, we may have enjoyed freedoms for so many decades, but just within a few months, all these things that we cherish can disappear very quickly. So in a way, it's good. I've been going to the United Nations for 30 years on all these human rights hearings on Hong Kong. And at most of the time, it attracted no attention. The media in Hong Kong would not report it. But now, with the current protests, it seems that's waking all the people up. That's good.
And I'd like to mention Ronald Reagan said that freedom is only a generation away from being extinguished. That's a very...
Maybe he's right. Yeah. So I think especially freedom for people who have tasted it. And if you try to take it away, these people will go crazy. But for people who've never tasted freedom, then you go and talk to them, they say, oh, what are you talking about? Plus the fact that they have this fear. If they do something that their government doesn't like, that they know. If they do something, if they say something, if they write something that their government doesn't like, they could end up in jail for years. So they are in no mood to try to exercise freedom because the price is too high. So what we want to do here is we want to ensure that our free lifestyle will not just crumble away. And of course, in the process, we'll continue to fight for democracy. We don't know how long it would take, but we just, like a bad penny, we just keep turning up.
So a lot of the young people I've spoken with, I feel like they really want to express themselves to me when I ask them a question, but they feel like they can't unless they're wearing a mask, sunglasses, and a hat. What would you say to that, about that?
That's very sad.
Yeah.
Hong Kong did not used to be like that. But now, I think the government here and Beijing has made people feel so fearful, that you could be victimized, you would be identified. And that's not Hong Kong. So, I mean, I don't wear a mask, but I can understand why some people are so fearful, because they could be beaten up, or they could be identified and then have all their personal information put on the internet. And so it is really bad. And I think we really have to see how we solve this problem and see whether we can go back to the Hong Kong that was free, that was safe, and still underpinned by the rule of law, and then, of course, to develop democracy.
Are you optimistic?
No, I have never been optimistic. I remember at the change of sovereignty in 1997, a diplomat who just came to Hong Kong, he came to see me. He said, now, Miss Lau, can you tell me why are you so unremittingly pessimistic? So I'm not optimistic, but I am very proactive. I never stop, and no one can stop me. Maybe they can throw me in jail. But, I am. People say, hey, where did you find this fire, this passion? And, if you really want to do something you believe in, then you are filled with fire and with passion. That's very important. And that's why when the foreign journalists talk to me, I say, why do you interview me? Why do you interview me? I don't represent nobody. I'm not a member of the Legislative Council. I'm not leader of my party. I'm just an ordinary Hong Kong resident. They say, don't worry, Emily, we interview you. Well, anyway, I think Hong Kong people should have the courage and the freedom to speak out. And I do that. And if my fellow Hong Kong residents dare not do it, that's the tragedy of Hong Kong.
But maybe if they see you speaking out yourself, maybe they'll get the courage as well. Maybe you'll ignite the fire in their heart.
I hope so. I hope it becomes infectious. But they do not do it because they fear there are consequences. But to me, there could be consequences too. I'm not Teflon, I can't be, But the thing is, I want nothing. I don't want money. I don't want fame. And I have many mentees and apprentices. I like to teach them that as human beings, how can you be strong? Well, how come others are so weak? Well, the weakness is human weakness, whether it's Hong Kong or elsewhere. People want money, they want fame, they want women, or they want men. All these things. And your enemies or the government, if they know your weaknesses, they will come and get you and give you those things. And then they say, this is what you want. Okay, I give you what you want, and you give me what I want. I want your soul. And some people are willing. Say, fine, I give it to you and you give me all the money or the woman or the fame. And that's a problem with people all over the world, especially politicians.